Oratio Imperata. God our Father, we come to you in our need to ask your protection against the 2019 and coronavirus that has claimed lives and has affected many. We pray for your grace for the people tasked with studying the nature and cause of this virus and its disease, and of stemming the tide of its transmission. Guide the hands and minds of medical experts that they may minister to the sick with competence and compassion, and of those governments and private agencies that must find cure and solution to this epidemic. We pray for those afflicted. May they be restored to health soon. Grant us the grace to work for the good of all and to help those in need. Grant this through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever. Amen. Mary, help of all Christians, pray for us. Saint Raphael the Archangel, pray for us. Saint Roch, pray for us. Saint Lorenzo Ruiz, pray for us. Saint Pedro Calungsod, pray for us.
And magandang hapon po mga ka-bounce back. Ako po si Audrey Ledesma, yung co-founder ng Mercato Centrale Philippines Easy Franchise at Enter-PH. At ako po ay isa sa mga administrator ng Bounce Back Facebook page. And thank you so much for all of us joining us here today to talk about crisis in the restaurant industry. As you know, Bounce Back has been a great business support group kung saan tinutulungan po natin yung mga frontliners, kagaya ng mga medical practitioners and medical frontliners, with medical supplies, with food. We are also helping mga tinatawag na at-risk communities or mga depressed communities with food security. And last but not the least, and very importantly, sa lahat ng mga nakikinig po ngayon, we are here to help our fellow entrepreneurs, yung mga business owners, to survive and thrive after the COVID-19 crisis. At alam niyo po, yung ating susunod na topic is something very near and dear to my heart. Ito po yung ating food and beverage or ating restaurant industry. So sa lahat ng mga nakikinig dito ngayon, thank you so much for all of you joining us here right now on the Bounce Back page, especially on our live page. Before we start, we just like to flash right now what you can join. If you are from the restaurant, food and beverage, in the cafe industry, if you are anybody, a consultant in the industry, we have a Bounce Back page just for you. Please sign up already. Jester, can we please flash our Bounce Back page for the restaurant business right below? And also at the same time, we'd like to thank everybody joining us here right now. If you're joining us, please say your name, where you're from. If you're from the restaurant business, please say what restaurant business you're from. We would love to hear from you today. And joining me here to co-moderate this session, I have with me Ms. Jolina Kahn of Kahn Solutions, who is also one of the administrators for Bounce Back Philippines. Jolina, magandang hapon po sa iyo.
Magandang hapon sa iyo at sa lahat. So, I am the CEO and co-founder of Kahn Solutions. At sabi mo nga, isa rin akong administrator. And today, actually, I'm more of a support for RJ. So, si RJ ang ating main moderator. But my role, I will be capturing lahat ng mga pinag-usapan para meron tayong maibabalik pagkatapos nito. So, kasi hindi lang ito pagsasalita, meron din tayong gagawin pagkatapos.
Tama. So sa lahat mo nakikinig dito ngayon, importante yung papel ni Jolina dito, because what she'll be doing is she will be consolidating all of the opinions that we're going to be bringing out over here, all the solutions that we have. Kasi may mga solusyon na kaya natin gawin bilang mga restaurateur o mga restaurant owner, pero may ibang solusyon na kailangan natin ibigay sa ating mga lessors, sa mga malls, sa mga commercial malls, sa mga establishments kung saan po yung ating mga tindahan. At pangatlo, we also have some solutions which we need to give to the government to help out also yung ating restaurant industry. Nakita natin yung tulong ng mga gobyerno sa Taiwan, sa Australia, sa mga food and beverage industry nila. We also want to get yung mga best practices na ginagawa dyan para dalhin na dito at tulungan din yung ating mga kapwang ka-restaurant industry. Again, babatiin ko muna, R.D. Morales, the second, A.R. Millares, binabati si Sir Raymund Magdaluyo, Ana May Sales, Michelle Alberto, Nats Macan, Mary Josephine Bautista, Michelle Alberto, Orlin Tulali, wow, ang dami natin nakikinig. Ang aga-aga pa, ang dami na nakikinig. Thank you so much for listening right now. And then we also have Jose Paulo Opulencia, Amalia Orense Palisok, and Angela Gloria. So now please, allow me to introduce to all of you yung ating mga panauhin sa talk na ito, really great restaurateurs and good friends of mine as well. Again, first of all, I'd like to welcome very lovely Miss Audrey Tanco-Uy from BIZU. Audrey, kumusta ka dyan, Audrey? How have you been doing, Audrey?
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here and the show.
Good to have you. Thank you for taking time. I know you've been very busy.
Yes. But I'm excited. I'm excited to dialogue with other restaurateurs today. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. At yung kagandahan kay Audrey po, Audrey also brings, she's also part of the Entrepreneurs Organization and one of the women entrepreneur mentors sa Go Negosyo. So hopefully, mga insights na naging mo sa mga organization mo ay madadala mo rin dito ngayong hapon na ito, Audrey. Thanks so much, Audrey.
Thank
Joining
you very
us
much.
as well. Thank you so much, Audrey. We also have from Rai Ken, Mr. Joey Garcia. Joey, thank you so much for joining us here today, Joey Garcia.
Good afternoon, RJ. Thank you for having me and magandang hapon po sa lahat ng nag-join sa atin. I think this would be a very insightful discussion, sigurado.
Oo. Sigurado. Eh, si Joey rin ay kasama po sa presidente po ng JCI ngayon, di ba? JCI Makati, sa lahat ng mga JCI Makati. Magandang hapon. Sana nakikinig kayo and kung may insight kayo, please share, please comment right below over here as well. We'd love to hear from you. And joining us also here on the show, I'd like to welcome as well, of course, I'm a big fan of his food, Mr. Eric D. ng FOODIE. Nako, maraming mga restaurant. Eric, thank you so much for joining. Ayos na ayos yung buhok natin kahit lockdown na.
Sabi ko sa'yo, worry ko is paano ayusin yung buhok.
Ayan. Eric,
excited for this.
Eric, bago lahat, napaki-explain lang. I know kasi FOODIE pa rin yung FOODIE global concepts pero maraming mga restaurant na nasa ilalim ng FOODIE. Can you just elaborate kung ano mga restaurant na yan?
Yes. So, kami ay isang restaurant group from Manila. We do Mesa, Tim Ho Wan, Pound, HawkerChan. We have Cam's Roast. We have Tsuta. We have IlaoIlao, and then a few more brands that are unfortunately closed right now. So we'll discuss that later on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Eric. We will really value yung mga insights mo dito kasi magandang insight mo dito kasi ikaw ay hindi lang restaurateur but you're also a lessor at the same time. So nakikita mo yung two sides of the picture over here. Yan yung kagandahan kay Eric dito ngayon. Maraming salamat, Eric. At kung nakikinig yung mami ni Eric, Miss Beng, thanks so much for joining us here as well if you're listening right now to us. And of course, to Mr. Ricky D. We also have here right now, ito, idol ko. Siya rin po ay isang professor ng Ateneo Center for Entrepreneurship. Siya po yung the guy behind the Red Crab Group at Wolfgang, si Mr. Raymund Magdaluyo. Professor Magdaluyo, magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Hi, good afternoon, RJ. Thanks for having me. Excited to be sharing my thoughts to everyone.
Thanks so much. Raymond, ikaw rin, alam ko marami kang ginagawa. I know that you also teach restaurant entrepreneurship sa Ateneo. Tama ba yan?
Adjunct, no? That was, sometimes when they need me, I go in and teach.
And then, anong iba't ibang mga restaurants na pinapatakbo mo noon, Raymond? I know that you have several restaurants under your belt. Anong mga restaurants na yan?
Well, sa Red Crab Group, mostly the seafood or the seafood concepts. No, we have Claude Daddy, Seafood Island, of course, Red Crab. Then we have Crustacea, no, and a few other concepts. And then sa ano naman, of course, I operate Wolfgang Steakhouse with a few partners. So we have three outlets. I also have a new concept with the Chef Robbie Goco sa Alabang, sa Molito, Cangrejos Locos. No, so it's basically paellas and crabs. So it's the first time I'm partnering with Robbie Goco and Mr. Manny Torrejon.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining. Ay, ang daming sumasali. Lance, Stan, Ork, Acapulco, Winslow, Justin, our friends from the Bistro Group are also watching right now. Charlene Soriano, Audrey Inocencio, hello, Ninong, Raymond Magdaluyo. Mga restaurants from along po, Meg Del Rosario Puno, friends from Lapu-Lapu City, Christine. So we've got a lot of people here watching right now. Michelle, as much as possible, I'll try to make it all English, pero marami po nakikinig na hindi maintindihan pag straight English ito eh. So again, Norman Cruz ng Alex the Third Restaurant, thank you so much for joining us here as well. And we also have, I don't know if he's here already, Mr. Jeff Catimbang ng Tribu Babylan. Is Jeff here with us already? Jeff, kumusta ka dyan, Jeff? Hi, Jeff. Can you hear us, Jeff? Baka nakamute ka. Pakibati lang po yung mga fans mo dyan, Jeff. Okay. Jeff, if you can hear me, I'll come back to you just in a bit when you fix the audio. Let's move on to our next speaker. We have as well from Zark's Burger. Si Zark, Mr. Zark, Varona. Zark, kumusta ka dyan, Zark?
Hi RJ, good afternoon. Maraming salamat for organizing this. I'm very
thanks so much,
excited.
Oh.
I'm very excited to share my insights and also at the same time matuto sa mga idol at sa mga expert din sa industries.
That's right. Zark, alam ko, kaibigan mo rin yung taga Buffalo Wings and Things, di ba? Si
Romel Lang.
Romel Lang, and he's also part of your group sa Resto, tama ba yung Resto Coach?
Yeah, Resto Coach, yung advocacy namin to helping din other restaurateur para sa coaching naman sa other restaurateur, yes.
Okay, sa panahon ng crisis, baka kailangan mag-step up yung Resto Coach para kayo maging bosses ng ating industriya sa ating mga malls. Pati sa ating
tulungan lahat.
Tulong po tayo lahat. Again, thank you so much for joining us to all speakers. Kumusta si Jeff dyan? Jeff, are you okay na? Jeff, may audio na ba si Jeff? Hi, Jeff. Ako, Jeff, medyo wala pang audio, but don't worry, we'll fix it up for you in a bit. I see Jeff from Tribu, Babylan, and Kape and Bros will be joining us also here in a bit. Now, let's move on to the first question really right now. I'd like to start off with, I had a chance to brief lot of restaurateurs, and I'm sure everybody listening to hear me right now have the same set of questions. Diba? We have all the same set of concerns, but I think the most important one that we have to start off with is this one. Diba? Nung nag-ECQ, nung March 14 yan, diba? Nakita na natin from the very start, bumababa na yung sales natin. At that time, people were slowly not showing up because they were scared of the virus being passed around. And then finally, nagka-ECQ. What were the initial challenges that you guys had to face in the business? In particular, there are three things I'm looking at when you come to the restaurant business. Number one, how did you handle the costs? Kasi may mga fixed costs yan, yung rental. How did you handle, of course, whatever, let's say, inventory, especially the raw materials, the food? And then number three, how did you have to handle your staff at this time? Because syempre, we know that especially in the restaurant business, that our most important resource, we always tell people, are our people. And we have to keep them inspired and keep them morale. But at the same time, kung maabusan tayo ng pera sa pagbabayad ng salary, baka wala silang balikan ng negosyo pagkatapos ng ECQ. So, Audrey, may I kindly invite you first. Can you share some of your thoughts? Anong ginawa muna ng BIZU Group nung nangyari yung ECQ? Kaya ba nahirapan na nung start pa, nung lumalakas pa yung coronavirus at wala pang ECQ?
Yeah, so 1 week before the lockdown, it was already getting very scary for us, mainly because we are also in the event industry, like I was also with RJ in the event industry, and slowly our clients were backing out on contract. So napakahirap nun, nung sitwasyon na yon. And then, so we thought we would still survive with the restaurants. Pero pati yung restaurants and all of our restaurants are mall-based, no? So pati yun nawala. So what we had to do with raw materials was sell it to our employees, because pati mga employees also wanted to be able to purchase food naman for their homes. So when they knew that they didn't get to the grocery or anything, so they were able to access also our inventory. And then we also of course determined ano yung mga masisira na, mga hindi, so yung mga gulay, a lot of them took it home. Pero the worst blow really was to the staff, because even to this day, so they're all, even if you do release the paid leaves, for example, there's still people who do not have access to leaves yet because they're new, So there's just a lot of uncertainty happening today in the restaurant scene. So we're kind of lucky that we have a commissary, that operates today for deliveries. But that's basically it, That's basically what we have today.
So, Sri, paano naman yung ibang cost mo, especially yung cost mo for the shuttered restaurants? You're still, how about your fixed cost? Basically, for me, I'm concerned about your rental.
Yeah. I think it's for majority naman of the people who are in malls. The malls gave us assistance for the month. And so what really provides anxiety for all of us is the coming. So I was doing a forecast, and even in June, it might even be worse for us when there's low foot traffic, but at the same time, we have to pay for our fixed costs, and it could even get worse from there. So everything is uncertain right now.
So kumbaga, we all share your anxiety, Audrey. Nararamdaman na lahat ng mga nasa pana at lahat ng mga nakikinig dito ngayon. Again, restaurant in crisis, sa lahat ng mga nakikinig dito ngayon, we invite all of you one more time that we have a Facebook group. Please join the Bounce Back Restaurants Facebook group so we can continue to talk over there at i-release natin dyan yung consolidated feedback natin na pwede ibigay sa mga mall owners, na pwede ibigay sa ating gobyerno. We need your inputs. Please join us in the restaurants FB group that we're flashing here right now. Okay, now moving on. Let's go back to our next speaker. See, Joey, I'm sure Joey, nag-uusap tayo since the start of this crisis. Day one, nag-uusap na tayong dalawa. Anong nangyari sa'yo? Tell us a bit more about what challenges that you have at the start of this whole process.
Since yung branches ko kasi is nationwide, meron akong Visayas, Mindanao, and then we have Luzon. Actually, early January, medyo napapansin ko na, even pagpatak ng Valentine's Day yung February 14. It's the first time in the history for about 5 years na yung sales ko may drop siya kasi it should be February to February, it should be around 10% ang increase niyan eh. Pero na-notice ko agad yung pag-decline. Ang ECQ natin, hindi naman tayo sabay-sabay na nag-close ng mall eh. Merong nag-close na ng March 16, 17, tapos sunod-sunod na. So all the leasing managers are telling me, oh, we're about to close, etc. So na-anticipate na namin, sabi ko, the same thing na binanggit ni Ma'am about the products. Yan ang napakalaking concern about the employees. Kasi hindi sabay-sabay eh. Unti-unti ang pag-announce eh. So it's the same thing. Nung tinawagan kita, RJ, di ba, sabi ko sa'yo, RJ, I have a facility in Makati. Probably we could develop a cloud kitchen that we can share to other restaurateur na pwede tayong, kasi nag-lockdown na eh, di ba? I anticipated na lahat ng mall magsasarado. So, nung nagsarado na lahat, so we have to settle the concerns of the employee. Kung paano yung, kasi yung iba hindi pa nakakasahod, sasahod pa lang, since it's a nationwide restaurant operations. So, ang komisary ko, I have one in Makati, I have one in Cebu. So, katulad ng ginawa, lahat ng perishable, yung mga gulay, pinamigay muna namin sa empleyado. And then yung mga goods na mga processed meat, we have to secure those and bring it back to the commissary para kahit papano meron kang isip because we don't know. Ang mall kasi magpapatay ng kuryente, di ba? Alam naman ng mga restaurateur yan, even during the Holy Week, nagpapatay talaga ng kuryente. So we have to move very, very fast para ma-secure mo yung mga dapat i-secure. Pero one of the anxiety talaga really that we're thinking is the rental and the fixed cost that will be incurring once we reoperate. Pero mabuti na lang ang mall, masyado silang mabilis, masyado silang maaga because they have given us I think it's already rent-free for the month period until we reopen. And I think this forum would be very good. At least lahat tayong mga restaurateurs na with chains of restaurant nationwide would be sharing a lot of ideas on how we can, kasi wala naman talagang normalcy nito. What do you think would happen in the next 6 or how many months? I think hindi, di ba? Especially paano kakakain sa restaurant ngayon na merong social distancing kung ang capacity ng restaurant is only 50 and then your capacity would turn out to be 50%. Di ba? Ang hirap nun. So, bilis talaga ng kilos. We have to think very, very fast.
Joey, pagdating naman dyan, no, sabi mo yung restaurants mo ay nationwide, no, sa Rai Ken. Pati may iba ka restaurant pa. Paano ba yan? Nakita mo ba na pare-pareho yung pag-implement ng mall ng loan ng waiver ng rental, or hindi lahat ng mall ay gumawa ng waiver?
Since I have SM Ayala, Robinsons, and other malls, medyo nagkaiba yung SM Ayala, Robinson, I think medyo nagkapare-parehas. But the other malls outside Metro Manila, some required me to operate para to for example, I have one in Bohol, in Island City Mall, Bohol. I have Festival Mall and the Gaisano Group. So, yung iba nire-require ako, please, Joey, do not close your restaurant. Ikaw muna mag-provide ng food. So, as much as I wanted to operate, ang problema ko, yung mga tao, they feel insecure. Sasabihin nila, sir, medyo lahat nag-uuwian na, nagsasaraduhan na. what shall we do? So the last resort is talagang really allow them. O sige, ano na lang natin. We have to close the mall, the restaurant. Pero yung sa mga mall naman, may nag-offer sa akin, Joey, wala kang rent, just operate.
Yan yung the best, no?
Sabi ko nga, sige, grant it to us for about how many months? I will operate. Pero syempre, you have to consider still the welfare of your employee. Mahirap din eh.
That's one thing we'll talk also mamaya konti about the welfare of the health of our employees. I think that's one thing we have to cover in the solutions portion natin. But lastly lang, no, yung ano ginawa mo sa mga tao mo? How did you handle compensation and HR issues during this time, Joey?
Medyo ano yun. So yung period na March 17, meron na silang tinrabaho noon for the past na, for example, yung March 1 to 15. So you have to issue the salaries na. So since I have a couple of employee around 500, 700. So ang unang ginawa, salary issue muna. Yan. Tapos yung sunod na, yung subsidy muna. Kung paano mo, siyempre may magka-cash advance na dyan. Since my branches is nationwide, hindi naman ako pwedeng magbalot-balot ng bigas sa kanang dilata and distribute it to them. So, ang gagawin namin, we have to do, kunyari, sa komisari ko sa Cebu, pinatignan ko, sabi ko, baka meron dyang mga goods na pwede pa nating i-repack and give it to our employee. The same thing dito sa Luzon. So pag hindi na kaya ng goods na in kinds, doon na ka pwedeng mag-issue ng cash advances, or we computed for the 13-month pay nila for January, February, and March. So kung kaya talaga, definitely this is very hard. Mahirap talaga eh, especially kung hindi ganun ka prepare. Siyempre wala naman nag-prepare dito sa scenario natin, sa crisis na to. So lahat tayo nagulat. So all sorts of support that we can extract for the employee, especially for the compensation, kailangan ibigay natin yun sa kanila. And then, we help them through the, yung DOLE, 5,000 assistance, DSWD. So, yung HR ko, sabi ko, bawal kang magpahinga. So, you have to coordinate directly to me. We have to submit all the reports that necessary to
Pero work from home yung HR mo, work from home.
Work from home home naman. Sabi ko sa kanya, bawal kang magkasakit at bawal kang mamatay.
Joey and everybody listening right now, we have a record 610 viewers right now here listening to us. This is the biggest part of our bounce back. Ibig sabihin, marami talagang na-apekto at gusto makinig sa mga solusyon natin dito para sa ating restaurant industry. Now, Eric D, you've got some of the most prominent restaurants here in the country, many of the influential ones. I know the goal of FOODIE was to bring a lot of good food from abroad, affordable good food from abroad. And right now, we're all problematic. Tell us a bit more about what's happening for you in terms of how you're handling the costs, the inventory, and the staff across all the different venues.
Thank you, RJ, for helping to organize this, and good afternoon to everyone. Well, we had to decide very quick. I think we were one of the few that actually shut down our doors, even prior to the announcement of the lockdown. I think we had to really act quick because it's more on the safety of our staff that is of concern now. We also had to make sure what's going to happen to our staff, right? We have about 4,000 that we hire, and we want to make sure that everyone goes home with something or prepared for, we always hear for prepare or save for a rainy day. Ngayon yung rainy day na yun. That unexpected time, that time that has, that's that time now. So we had to make sure that na-release namin yung mga, even prior to the government initiating all those packages and whatnot, we had to release already prior to that because we know that they needed that. Everyone needed to get home, and that was our priority. As far as the food is concerned, network-wide, we mentioned that we help our internal staff first, of course. I think that's more important that we help internally first before we start helping outwards. But we had a lot of food, so there was a lot to be shared. So every week we're actually doing donations to our frontliners. We've already done about 20,000 packed meals for all these frontliners. So thank you to the frontliners, and thank you to my own personal frontliners who have prepared the food and packed the food and delivered the food to all the hospitals and checkpoints around Metro Manila.
Paano yung mga cost? How do you handle the cost right now, Eric, as well? I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of rental costs involved. Like, sina Joey, like many of your malls are in SM and Ayala and Robinson. So I guess you're okay for the meantime, no? It's okay with you. But how are the other costs? How are you handling the other fixed costs that you guys have as well, aside from rent?
I think what we've been taught about this particular crisis is that because it's worldwide, I think everyone's affected. So I think everyone had to start to bring out some humanity and be like, okay, even our principals have been cutting royalties. Well, we're lucky that the malls are closed, so there's really no room for it to be collecting rent. But I think everyone has been supportive in that sense to kind of give a little bit even before asking what the government can do for them, because we know that the government has a lot on their plate already. So we need to make our own moves, right? We need to make our own rules and kind of like try to foresee what's going to happen as much as possible, and kind of go from there.
Okay. Thanks so much, Eric. Maraming bumabati dito ngayon. Mike Reyes, do you think property? Catherine Uy D, Raquel Kidato Nunez, Maribel Aye, hello sir, Eric D. Gusto ko lang sabihin kay Bel Castro, she's asking a question over here about very interested to find out what's going to happen next. Miss Bell, we're going to be talking about that in a bit, no? So we're going to discover what we're doing right now, and we're going to talk about our solutions as a group just in a bit. We just want to get a good, kumbaga, barometer kung what we are all doing. Let's just want to see, kasi some people, they're still a bit clueless, so they need some help. And then the guidance ng ating mga restaurant, big restaurant owners dito can really help them govern their next few steps from here. Raymond, same question as well. How did the Red Crab Group, especially Wolfgang Steakhouse, how did you have to handle this one in terms of cost, staff, inventory, rent? What did you guys do sa inyo?
Well, actually maraming nasabi na, no? And I've just been listening. What I can share is that as a part-time professor, no. So normally, what they teach us is that during times like these, what you want to do is convert as much of your current assets to cash. No, of course, part of ang current assets mo, receivables, mahirap maningil. So ang tinitignan natin yung inventaryo, no. So like with Wolfgang's, for example, we had about 20% of our inventory were steaks that were about to be overaged, no. In a few weeks' time. So we unloaded about 20% of our steaks, no? Binenta namin para sa ganun, maalat namin sa mga tao sa just to be able to cover their payroll for the entirety of the lockdown period.
And then what else? What are the other things that you did? I mean, a lot of people share the same sort of advice or experience. Was there anything that you did a bit different from anybody else, or gusto mo magdagdag sa mga sinasabi nila?
Well, ang mahirap talaga yung obviously may mga stores ka talaga na yung of course there for like multi-unit groups, no. I think most of us here multi-unit groups. Talagang may stores talaga na masirap sa ibang stores, no. So especially nung nagsara, sudden talaga yung pagsara, may mga stores talaga na halos walang pera yung nila, 'di ba? Yung mga bangko, yung bank balances nila. So we had to find other ways, no, to deal with this, no. So basically what I'm doing now is two things, no. I'm protecting the core employees. And second, the most vulnerable. Of course, you have to take care of. Right now, you really have to choose. Sad to say, you really have to choose. Sino ba talagang aalagaan, no? So, of course, yung mga managers namin, we want to make sure that we can sustain them hanggang kailan ba kailangan. And of course, yung pinaka-vulnerable, yung talagang walang-wala. We have friendly suppliers. The first thing I did nung nag-lockdown, inutusan ko yung purchaser namin, pwede ka bang kumausap ng supplier na magpapautang ng bigas kahit na mga 60 to 90 days para so we can give it to the staff, no? So we gave away a lot of rice, we gave away a lot of chicken. The next is we plan to give away vegetables from Benguet and Baguio. Yun, so unang ginawa namin was talaga to take care of the people. the rental part, while most malls gave 30 days rent free, at some point alam natin maniningil sila. Like right now, everybody's calling and telling us, oh, magbukas na kayo, at least you do takeouts, do deliveries. Pero ito yung rent nyo. Some say 8%, some say whatever, no? So iisipin mo muna talaga, di ba? I mean, kung mag-deliveries ka, kaya mo bang at least mag-break even man lang or kumita man lang, no? At least to be able to add cash. So very, very tricky. And to be honest with you, I don't think after this crisis, all the stores will be opening, no? So, I'm already identified siguro a few stores that maybe I won't reopen. Talagang casualty of war. It's really a tough crisis na talagang hindi mo iisipin na mangyayari, na kahit na anong gawin ng planning, you wouldn't even anticipate that something like this would happen, no?
Sabi nga, Black Swan event kayo ito, once in a million event that it's not really planned for, because karamihan sa atin dito, we were planning for expansion in 2020, di ba? I mean, that was in my pipeline. Thanks so much, Raymond.
But RJ, if there's one thing I didn't mention, one thing I did was economize, no? I think lahat kami parang kailangan magtipid so that we can share more to the employees, no? So yun yung sinasabi ko sa lahat, let's economize, at least mag-survive lang.
That's right. Thanks so much, Raymond. We'll get back to you in a bit. Jeff Catimbang. Jeff, okay na ba yung audio natin dyan, Jeff? Can you talk? Are you saying something? Jeff, if not, you might have to log in, log out again. Just log in, log out na, please. Log in, log out. Let's go back to Zark first. Zark, ikaw naman. Zark's Burgers, really great story. If you guys know the story of Zark, OFW made it big, built really Zark's into a multi-brand thing. Now he's part of Endeavor Philippines as one of a very inspiring entrepreneur. Zark, sa inyo naman, I mean, marami nang na-share ng iba't ibang kasama dito. Pero sa iyo naman, anong I know you can agree with some of the things that they did. Anong ginawa mo na medyo differently? May ginawa ka bang kapareho at different in terms of inventory, cost, staffing sa Zarks?
No, nung simula, instruction ko sa team is to let's review muna yung natin, yung standing natin, yung stores, yung profitability ng mga stores, yung stocks. Kasi it's important din, and mag-calm down muna sila. Kasi very important to yung yung mental state naming lahat eh. Kasi mahirap pag ma-stress tayo sa simula agad, di natin alam kung hanggang saan naabot to. And nung na-study na namin yung mga numbers, ilang mga stocks namin, yung time na sinabi mag-extend, that's the time kami more focus na sa details. Sa simula, more on general strategy yung ginawa namin eh. Para ready kami, just in case mag-extend to. We're fortunate sa situation namin na thank you sa HR namin kasi mabilis din yung and sa management namin sa pagtulong sa mga staff. So ginawa namin, katulad ng ginawa ng mga ibang restaurants. So we gave you mga 13-month, yung mga paid leaves. We just review muna kung hanggang saan aabot to. And then after that, niready namin yung mga stocks namin. So kaya this weekend, we might open some stores nga for delivery kasi hindi rin pwede masyadong magtagal kasi may mga mag-expired din yung mga yung mga inventories namin. And as much as possible, we want to liquidate, we want to convert yung mga assets into cash nga para makita kung hanggang saan masusustain, especially sa mga employees. Kasi kami as an entrepreneur, I'm sure yung iba din, ganun din yung mindset na we can take the hit eh. Yung pinaka-worry ko talaga personal is yung mga staff kung hanggang saan sila namin kaya ma-support. At the same time, hindi naman at the cost na mag-shutdown yung company kasi mas mahirap, wala tayong mababalikan lahat. So more or less mga planning and then yung mga donations sa mga frontliners, ganun yung ginawa. Yeah, basically yun lang ginawa namin sa ngayon and hopefully pag mag-extend man ito, ready kami sa mga mangyayari like delivery, shift to delivery, and also at the same time very thankful din kami sa mga malls for extending help nga, puro free yung mga rental, percentage yung mga ginawa nila sa delivery. hopefully yung magkaroon with this etong webinar na to, magkaroon kami ng one stand as a group.
Agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
para moving forward, especially
Moving forward tayo.
once malift yung ECQ. Yun pinaka-importante na part. Sa ngayon, mostly taking care of the employees lang talaga kasi there's nothing we can do right now talaga. What's important after this, kung ano mangyari sa susunod.
Actually, guys, marami ngayon dito mga suppliers. There are people supplying, there are food service suppliers, there are people who want to provide software, there are people who want to provide different parts, mga restaurant supplier and food supplier industries. If you're all listening to us here right now, please make sure to join again the Bounce Back Facebook page for restaurants. The reason is because if you want people to know about your services, baka hindi nila mabasa sa comments group, you can all post in that restaurant group what services you can offer to the restaurants, whether it's helping them develop order taking, helping them with their supplies, helping them with the software. Please go over to our Facebook group and sign up. If a gesture, you can show again our Facebook page for the restaurants. It'd be really great. Ang daming pumapasok ngayon. Jeff, can we hear you now, Jeff?
Hi, Sir RJ.
Ayan, Jeff, finally nakapasok ka na.
Finally.
So I'm sure narinig mo na rin lahat. There's no need to we don't have to keep on saying the same thing again. But I think the more important thing is, what have you guys done differently, or what would you like to add? What do you agree with in terms of what should be done for us in the restaurant industry? In terms of what were the challenges you had sa staff, inventory, costs na ginawa mo differently from the rest? Or the same?
Actually, I'm the newbie here amongst all. Pero I'm thankful kasi what they've done, that's exactly the same thing that I did. Like with Sir Joey, inayos sila yung sa government, mga benefits for the employees. With Sir Eric naman, internal stock. Tapos, so they minanage sila maigi yung yung mga employees. Ganun din yung ginawa namin. With Sir Raymund, yung mga core assets, tapos yung mga core team, so they take good care of them, tapos si Zark naman, in deliveries. So, I was glad na halos pareho yung ginawa namin lahat. But one thing that I could say na I could add on na nagawa nung team namin is that parang I would like to call na we're lucky and blessed. Kasi number one, stand-alone kami. So, hindi kami naapektuhan ng closure sa mall. Then secondly, may mga staff ako na nakastay in dito. So with that, we were able to continue our operation through deliveries.
I think deliveries is becoming very key right now during this period. Thanks so much, Jeff Catimbang again. We're doing restaurants in crisis, how we will bounce back together. Makinig lang po dito dahil mamaya content yung kahaba ng ating usapan, really be on ano mga solusyon natin ngayon pagkatapos ng ECQ at ano magagawa natin bilang isang grupo na restaurant para tayo naman may mensahe tayo sa ating gobyerno as to what we can do. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, yesterday, I had a good online mentorship session together with, his name is Magdaluyo. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Phoenix. And he said, it will be, because of the new normal, you have to start your business at once, even during the crisis. You can debate whether or not you think that way or not. Kasi sabi niya, why do you have to start right now? Because you have to prepare. It's not the same. You can't say, nagsara lang kayo before the crisis, magbubukas na lang kayo after the crisis. It's not the same thing. And to operate during this crisis might be the only time or the best time for you to learn kung paano magnegosyo in the new normal. So question ko lang, kayo ba ay anong ginawa niyo para mag-operate? Did you do anything to operate during this crisis? How did you do it? And while you were doing it, what did you do? How did you get put together a delivery team? How you make sure okay lang yung mga frontliners mo, yung kalusugan ng mga taong pumapasok sa inyo? What did you have to, yung tinatawag natin sa mga startup industry, di ba, Audrey? How do you pivot during this time of the crisis? Anong ginawa ninyo? Ikaw muna, Audrey, anong ginawa ninyo sa BIZU? Kasi alam ko ngayon, pwedeng buksan yung commissary mo, pati yung catering mo, di ba?
Opo. So, kami kasi 2 days immediately after lockdown, no, nagpahinga muna yung mga tao para ma-digest muna, no, lahat ng pangyayari. Pero I think just 1 week, even before that lockdown, I already had a pivot plan in place. I already spoke to our Execom team before the lockdown and said that we really have to find new revenue streams for all the streams that we have lost and find new opportunities. And that acting that out cannot be na, siguro ito yung pwedeng gawin. So immediately 2 days after nung pagbangulit ng lahat, no, and we were able to bring in 10% of our workforce inside the commissary, we started producing again and started telling people, hey, we have breads, we have, we started with the breads because ito ay isang basic necessity na kailangan ng lahat. So, yun. So, nung naglabas kami ng ganon at hirap pa yung mga tao to find food sources, naglabas kami ng breads and it gave us good publicity as well. No, kasi not many were willing to really go out of their way to produce food for people who needed food. So that was one thing that I think we did right. No? And slowly we even produced the cakes and then we produced family meals. So BIZU kasi is known really for celebrations, for bringing joy to homes, for having specialty products that are quite unique, because of our patisserie. And so we did quite well during the Easter weekend. Well, we promoted a week before telling people about our Easter specials, and we made it in such a way that we marketed it that we were normal, that we are not crisis business or business operating during the crisis. No, we tried to communicate that, hey, it's Easter, that there's hope, that there's joy, that there's still love, that's happening. And I think that's what, if there was something that I would like to share as a key takeaway today is to still market to
your people. I think nawala si Audrey, but I think that's what's important. She was saying it's still very important to market to your people at this time. Let's try to bring back Audrey online, but in the meantime, let me go first to Sir Joey, no? Joey, habang babalik mo na si Audrey dito, gusto ko malaman, ano ginawa naman sa negosyo ninyo? Are you trying to sell right? Are you trying to open up? We're up to 656 viewers right now watching us live here sa Bounce Back. Joey, anong ginagawa naman ninyo are you trying to reopen the business? I mean,
Actually,
sorry. Audrey, pasensya lang. Audrey,
no problem.
You still have very important. You have to communicate again with your customers. Wag mawawala yung marketing mo. Wag mawawala yung connection mo.
Wag. Yeah.
So tuloy-tuloy. Ano mo mensahe mo sa social media para sa kanila?
No, I just wanted to reiterate that you have to still stick to your brand. Don't act like a company in crisis mode. Just continue communicating, telling people about really who you are, because at the end of the day, they have to still have that imprint in their minds of who you are, diba? And what you really celebrate, right? Or what your food brand stands for. And I think that's something later on we will have to strengthen in the new normal, because everyone will be communicating the same way, diba? Because in what you have in the restaurant scene is your experience. Your experience are all different. Maganda interiors mo, ganito yung serbisyo mo. And so people understand that kung naglalakad sila sa SM. But now, if you're in the social media scene, how are you communicating it? And so it has to be still consistent, unique, and really your brand proposition or what you really stand for. So that's really something I'm espousing right now for entrepreneurs. To be able to continue and to uplift people also using your brand.
But Audrey, paano yung delivery mo? Did you have a delivery system in place, or de facto you have to build a delivery system? Kasi I'm sure sa BIZU, paano yung mga breads? Did-deliver ba yung breads ninyo? Did-deliver ba yung inyong mga packed meals, yung mga cakes, or pick up sa inyo?
Yeah, good question, RJ. Kasi we were able to pivot immediately to have our own fleet. So kumuha ko ng sariling fleet. Napakaraming mga motorcyclists na nawala ng trabaho. And then if I really relied only on Foodpanda or Grab, they get 20% from my sale, and at the same time, hindi pa regular, no? So you won't be able to build it up. Kaya ang kailangan talaga is magkaroon ng sariling e-commerce, sariling dispatch and fulfillment team, sariling mga riders, really delivering it. Tsaka ang maganda doon is consistency. Sila palagi yung talagang kumukuha sa inyo. Hindi yung maraming iba-ibang tao ang nagpipick up. So what we were able to do is really come up with our own fleet and manage that own fleet on a daily basis. And you'll see that it really comes out cheaper that way.
Okay, yung fleet mo, nakuha mo on the day, 2 days before, the day after, na-build nyo yung fleet mo for delivery?
Yes, oo. Yes, I was able to do that, RJ, kasi meron rin naman akong database, and then through FB you can find them. You can find them. Because I also have a recruitment service agent.
May startup si Audrey, tawag niyan is Serve Happy, which is a recruitment platform, di ba? So, swerte mo dyan. Ang ganda ng timing mo dyan, Audrey. Ang ganda ng timing dyan.
Salamat. Yon. So, but, so I think it's really critical to have your own fleet at this time to help you. And you can also have consistency with your delivery. Hindi ka nagre-rely sa other providers. Controlled mo talaga sila.
How about yung order and delivery? Paano mo ginawa? Order system, manual lang ba? Tumatawag sa Facebook, tumatawag sa text, tumatawag sa paano yan?
So maraming Viber groups ngayon, di ba, that sprung out. But at the same time, we still invested in social media marketing. Well, I found out many people still prefer to do calls, manual calls. But you have to be able to quickly digitize and capture their payments. Yeah. So you have to use many payment tools to be able to get that. So you have to arm yourself with that.
That's right. And again, for that, we like to thank our good friend, Ken Costales, Digital Monolith Growth Consulting. Thanks so much for helping out all of us here in the industry. Joey Garcia, Joey, balikan natin same question sa inyo. Are you trying to do business right now during this time of the crisis? At paano ginagawa mo?
Actually, dahil lahat nga ng branch ko nasa mall, tapos I have my commissary in San Pedro na meron din akong big store. But unfortunately, I closed it down. Pero dahil because of a lot of customer are craving for the food, just yesterday we finalized yung mga menu na pwede. Actually, I'm a customer of Audrey sa BIZU. I ordered something na I was so surprised with my wife. Sabi ko sa galing to, nakapagpa-deliver pala siya.
Thank you.
So I had that idea. Sabi ko to my dad, sabi ko, why not try to identify foods that we can be delivered. Sabi niya, Joey, at sinong fleet ang gagamitin mo? So, mabuti binanggit ni Miss Audrey about the Grab and the other provider. Medyo kasi it's too high, 25%, tapos ang payment pa sa atin is after 15 days. Medyo nag-complain So, sabi ko nga, rather than creating our own fleet, baka hindi natin kaya, not unlike Audrey. So what I did is a pick up system. So, when I tried it in San Pedro, Laguna, in one of my stores there, medyo talagang nakakagulat dahil we've been donating to several frontliners. Prior to the donation, sabi nung isang kaibigan ko, Joey, bakit hindi ka gumawa ng mga pagkain for the frontliners? Kasi yung kinakain namin, walang quality na halos. So, sabi ko, kung we were able to give out food for the frontliners, we might as well do the selling na rin. So, mabuti na lang, syempre, marami kang mga stocks that you have to consider na near expiration that you have to do something. So, actually, nakapag-create pa kami ng new menu out of that available mga stocks. Kasi Japanese food, you cannot just simply sell ramen. Di ba? Not unless magbebenta ka ng separate noodles, separate broth, etc. So, I focus on the donburi, I focus on the bento, yung mga ganon. So, luckily, merong na-develop na market. Yun nga lang, yung fulfillment of the order. Wala akong delivery fleet. With the idea of Miss Audrey, probably I would consider yon. Na
hopefully, you can coordinate with Audrey. Baka she can help you with creating a delivery fleet. Malay mo ba? She has
for all of us, siguro, no?
But I think that's one of the great learnings that we're coming up here right now. We can't be fully reliant on third-party food delivery services, especially during these times. So we've got to focus on our own business. Thanks so much for the input. Joey.
To add on lang, no? Surprisingly, para kaming nag-umpisa uli ng restaurant with my dad. Kasi parang back to basic kami. We have to develop a new menu. Unlike na mamimili ka na lang sa existing menu mo, no? So what happened is talagang pinag-isipan namin what can we provide for the the market in times of crisis. So it came out good.
Okay, thanks so much, Joey, again of Rai Rai Ken. And you're joining us here right now to talk about the crisis in the restaurant industry. How are the restaurant groups coping with that here right now? Eric D. Eric, the thing with you, you're a multi-restaurant brand, iba't ibang klase. Did you try to open up anybody right now? What did you guys do what did you do in this crisis to continue to operate? Anong ginawa ng foodie group?
So I think what was not discussed is the real problem at hand. I think the real problem at hand is the virus that we're having to do. I've seen a lot of the restaurants started opening already and doing some service premature because the new SOPs, the new protocols that have to be put in place just to operate is very much different from what we were used to. If it was a two-step process before, there's now probably an additional 3 steps in between step 1 and step 2.
That's right. That's right.
And after we lift up this ECQ, it just doesn't go back. Your staff doesn't just go back. So what Foodie has done was purchase about 5,000 quick test kits just to have us this sense of security, because we needed to make sure that, of course, social distancing will be in place. And back to normal will not go back to normal. Social distancing will be the new norm, right? We're looking at, if Bill Gates is correct, 18 months. Since he's the one funding all this research, then 18 months, but maybe 24, right? So I think the companies also have to be versatile enough to be able to make the quick moves. And because we're learning so much about the virus as it happens, we're having to change protocols that quick as well. So we've been safety protocols, not only for your staff, but also for your consumers. So a lot of people are like, what are you doing, right? Now people are asking rather now, masarap ba dyan? Hindi. Safe ba dyan? That's now the question, right? So now it's about gaining that customer's confidence back. So dati ang problema natin, masarap pagkain, good ambience. Ngayon, problemahin pa natin the confidence level ng tao para pumasok sa atin. Right? Now you will have to forget about maybe aesthetics or make it look like washing hands or there's a sink in front of your restaurant. Cool. Right? It's now a ball game whether who is quick enough, who's agile enough to make all these changes, who saved for a rainy day, right? And able to talagang, redo your business plan, your business model altogether. So
I like that. Please continue, Eric.
We've been really more focused on the steps and regroup. I've had all my heads. We had to sit down and really give them reality that it's never going to go back anymore to that normal before. Na parang pag-akyat ng ECQ, back to normal. No. You have to now convert your entire business model from a dine-in restaurant to a deliver to you, right? Rather than they come to you, you go to them. So if we were used to people dining within the restaurant, then that's a total paradigm shift. We're also looking into if we have partners in Singapore and Hong Kong that has already been going through this and governments already initiating rules. That's our problem here. The government is too busy to implement rules that we have to do the rules on our own, or else you'll be stuck waiting.
That's right.
So what we have to do was to make sure that, we had to buy our own test kits, because at the end of the day, if you get a person infected and actually infects that entire network, the negativity of that is bigger than you not buying a 500 peso quick test kit.
Yeah.
Right? So new SOPs have to be in place, new protocols. So I hope that people that have jumped the gun and reopened their stores have put this into place, because I really don't know. We don't understand how people are making sure that walang asymptomatic dyan, walang nagdala ng virus from transportation. So a lot of the people that I saw are doing housing for people that are working, so that they're only going back to that particular housing, and they're not spreading it back home, and also calculate. So we are actually opening 2 stores this weekend. Like you mentioned, RJ, this is an opportunity for us to test out these new protocols. And if you consider us, we're actually late already because ang dami na nagbukas. But for us, we had to make sure all the safety protocols are in place, test it out for these particular stores, and slowly open up our stores as we are more confident with the protocols that we had decided to do.
Great point, Eric. A lot of feedback coming in right now. It's a great perspective you're seeing. Eric Paikaeg of the Association of Filipino Franchisers, sabi niya, after the quarantine economy, the safe economy will have to be born. At usually dapat yung mga mensahe natin dyan is not, we're not just telling people we're safe on social media. We really have to make sure to review the protocols. So nakikita ko dyan what you guys did is that you took time not just to reopen the business, but to revisit really how the business is going to work post ECQ, because all the protocols have changed, because we've all built our restaurants to have people come inside and experience it. But now it might be a bit different moving forward. Eric, thanks so much for the insight. We're still here to listen to restaurants in crisis, how we're solving that issue. And then moving on, let's move on to the next person here right now. Raymond, I'm sure we picked up a lot from Eric over here, but how about you, Professor Magdaluyo? What are we doing naman for you in your different groups? What do you think? Did you try to go back to business already, and what have you done different, at least during this time of the crisis?
Well, most of our stores are closed, no, but we're experimenting with a couple of stores. I got a lot of requests. This one day I got a lot of requests for crabs, so I opened the Tomas Morato store. It's one of my few stores with which is not inside the mall. So we basically made it into a cloud kitchen. Then we developed our own fleet, the usual. It's doing very well. In Wolfgang's, we're doing takeout and delivery, no. But very selective, no. Most of our stores are closed. What I want to share lang kasi is, alam mo, I've been in business for 21 years, no. And marami akong kasama sa trabaho. Talagang ang mindset nila is restaurant. And it's not overnight that you get to shift their mindset to the delivery, no, or yung takeout, no. Because for example, yung customer experience ng restaurant iba, no. Sa takeout, if you do this, for example, you've established a cloud kitchen, the mindset is different, diba? The customer experience is the delivery experience, no. From the time they order up to the time makuha nila yung order nila. So, yung mga iba, mahirap. Kasi parang for them, takeout is just a residual revenue, no? So, there's a lot of education involved. There's a lot of experimentation we're doing now, no? But on the other hand, ako naniniwala ako na after, alam mo, I'm turning 47 this year. You know, after September 11, after 9/11, 2001, na sinabi ng mga tao wala nang kakain sa restaurant. Dahil lahat takot lumabas. Alright? Very apocalyptic. Ako talaga naniniwala ko, kakain pa rin ang tao sa restaurant. Dine-in will not die, and I bet you, hindi mawawala yan. It may take time, but people will still have coffee, people will still get their pizza inside restaurants. Hindi mawawala yan. Restaurants around the world have survived how many pandemics? Hindi mawawala ang dine-in restaurants. Ang senaryo na puro take-out lang, bullshit yan, hindi mangyayari yan. So, yan ang paniniwala ko. Now, I think what we have to do as restaurateurs is develop your own timeline, no? Bahala ka na kung anong timeline mo. Number one is you have to have a survival strategy, no? And my guess is, personally, my survival strategy is up to maybe June or July. And after that, you have to have a moving forward strategy. Iba yun. The survival strategy, you just have to make sure na hindi ka mawala sa universe. Diba? A moving forward naman is, dapat relevant ka pa rin. No? Hindi mawawala ang restaurant, hindi mawawala ang dine-in. Ilang na talaga pandemics dinaanan ng mundo. Nandiyan pa rin ang restaurant. That's my take on that.
So we're still going to survive. I guess it's really how, like sinasabi ni Professor J. Bernardo, you have to have two types of teams right now. One team that handles the crisis and one team that handles what's next. Basically, that's what you were trying to say. May survival team and then may what's next team. That's how they looked at it.
Ang importante lang talaga palagay ko yung location planning, no? Yan ang talagang magbabago. I think ang preference natin sa location mag-iiba. For example, personally, I'd now look for places na maraming outdoor, na basically maybe your need for indoor space hindi na masyado. Malls probably have to change the way they design, no, mas maraming open areas. So yun yung mga tinitingnan namin. A couple of months back, even Wolfgang now is mobile, no. We have a couple of trucks. Meron kami 2 trucks. We can go to you, no. So we've gone mobile already. So it's not just you can go mobile naman, hindi lang sa takeout, di ba? So parang mura lang naman yan, di ba? Parang the cost of a second-hand canter is probably mga 600,000. There's a company in Caloocan that can make a mobile kitchen for you for less than 1 million pesos, complete with equipment.
Perfect. Okay. Let's move on to Jeff. Jeff Catimbang, Jeff ng Tribu Babylan. Tumatakbo yung mga negosyo ba ninyo? And what are you doing? What are you doing in this crisis? What did you guys have to do in this crisis to pivot or para makanegosyo?
Yes, sir. Tribu Babylan actually is a first and authentic Filipino spa, resto, and coffee shop.
Spa, spa, resto, and coffee shop.
Spa, resto. Yung coffee shop namin is under Kape & Co. So definitely, yung branches namin ng spa, hindi na nag-work, hindi siya nag-operate. But then, narinig ko kanina kay sir yung survival. Kami survival mode. So what I did is, I live by example. So yung safety, I made sure na we abide with the safety and protocols. And the reason why I mentioned I live by example, nung walang gusto mag-deliver, ako mismo nag-deliver sa mga hospital, sa mga frontliners. Then ngayon, we're continue doing that. And it happens, it became more than just a business. Nung nakita ko yung mga frontliners nangangailangan ng pagkain, kung gaano sila kasaya once na bibigyan namin sila. So, yung human nature, yung pagtulong nangyari. So ngayon, fortunately with the deliveries, sabi nga blessed kami. Nag-grow ng 300% ang sales namin because I use the Pareto principle. Nung nakita kong maraming nangangailangan ng frontliners, so nag-order sila sa amin. Then ngayon, eventually, ginagawa namin, we give back something to the society na. Ngayon, 30% ng sales namin, dinodonate namin. And I was inspired by BounceBackPH. I have to thank you, Sir Jason and Andrew, kasi ginawa rin namin logistics area yung business namin. Whereas tumanggap kami ng mga
Oops, nawala si Jeff.
yan, so tumanggap tayo ng mga tumanggap tayo ng mga donations.
Oh, wow.
Yan, so yung Kape & Co, tayo rin yung naging one of the supporter ng BounceBackPH na nagdi-deliver sa mga nangangailangan.
Perfect. Thanks so much for the support, Jeff.
So ngayon po ang nangyari, ayan po. So na-inspire ako sa BounceBackPH. And to be honest, nung nakita ko yung mga frontliners, kailangan nila ng mga food and some other support. So it's happened na naging CSR na. So it's more than just a business for me now. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you po.
Zark, ikaw naman, you said tell us again, what are the plans to do to reopen in the crisis? Paano kayo nabubukas ng mga negosyo ngayon? Are you trying to do business right now? And how are you doing business right now?
Sa simula, ginawa namin, hindi muna kami nag-open. In-assess muna namin situation. Kasi commissary-based kami. So masyadong maraming moving parts pag nag-open kami ng 1 or 2 stores. Sometimes it's not worth it mag-open ka 1, 2, 3 kasi hindi naman kami nagpe-prep in-store. So we study first the numbers and in-observe muna namin kung hanggang saan ba ito. Para the moment na nag-announce yung government na mag-extend, that's the time na mas naging detailed yung namin, yung next strategy namin na gagawin. Kasi parang yung first 2 weeks, the risk outweighs the benefits Parang especially sa mga staff namin, sa commissary namin, ayaw din namin ma-compromise yung special na commissary, nandun lahat ng stocks. So, nung narun na namin yung numbers, logistics, yung strategies, kasi hindi rin lahat ng stores kaya magkaroon ng staff kasi sa iba-ibang cities din sila nakatira. And after running in considerations lahat, this weekend pa lang kami mag-open some stores for deliveries. So hindi pa rin lahat. Pero very important kasi na mag-open kami kasi we have franchises na eh. We have franchises na, we have stakeholders na naghihintay what's next, ano yung plan namin. So first, gagawin namin, i-operate muna namin sa company-owned stores. Then we will see kung worth it yung yung delivery, especially now, very limited lang din yung mga third party na mga drivers eh. So, ayun, dahan-dahan muna namin i-roll out. Pero yeah, very optimistic kami na there's good that will come out of this, and yung restaurant industry, mag-e-evolve lang yan eh. And good thing nga kasi for the past 2 years, ino-observe na namin yung delivery. In fact, may mga cloud kitchen na kami na mga ino-operate kasi yun na yung future eh. Naniniwala kami na yun yung future ngayon dahil with the traffic, tapos yung mga dumadami na yung condominiums. So ready kami doon. Ngayon, mapapabilis lang I think yung transition ng lahat. Pero hindi mawawala yung dining customers kasi yung Filipinos wants to gather. We always want to celebrate. And aspirational tayo eh. So, ayun, yun sa tingin ko yung moving forward ang dapat namin pinaghahandaan.
Thanks so much, Zark, for the insight. Again, we're listening right now to feedback from the restaurant industry. We're going to get a bit deeper right now. The more important part is ano mga solution natin na papag-usapan bilang grupo. Now, just an important thing to all the people listening, pati sa mga restaurants, there is now an app called staysafe.ph. Again, staysafe.ph. That app is a contact tracing app. All of us can register, pati mga empleyado natin. You can put them your health, the state of health of your employees, the state of health of your family, so it can help you map out. Meron silang heat map, so they can tell you basically kung anong mga hotspot na areas na may sakit na COVID o hindi. But we need your help. Please go online, staysafe.ph, register yourself, register your family, have your employees register. If you have a company, you can actually ask them to map out kung saan yung mga empleyado mo, and if hotspot yung lugar ng mga empleyado kung saan sila nakatira. Now, moving on, the solutions portion which we talked about, which is very key. How do we plan to operate short-term? Short-term meaning right after the ECQ, and then the longer-term plan after the ECQ is done. Diba? We were saying when we're done, we've got an initial plan for 2 to 3 months, and then the longer-term plan for our companies. But at the same time, what kind of help do we need as an industry, and what kind of help do we need from the government and from the lessors? So, marami to. We will unpack it as we talk to each one, but feel free to jump in on the discussion. We'll go first to, is Miss Audrey there? Audrey, nandiyan pa si Audrey?
I'm here.
Yan, si Audrey. Kanina, Audrey, I know that you said that you were able to come up with a specific arrangement, no? As we begin with ECQ, because the biggest things, para sa akin, let me know if I'm correct, but the 3 biggest things we have to talk about is, number 1 is rent. Number 2, we have to talk about the restaurant's design for ECQ, for physical distancing. And number 3, health and safety, not just of the people going to the restaurant, but also of our employees, the health and safety protocols, diba? How will we move ahead with that one? Audrey, you were sharing earlier on something about rental, which was very helpful for you. Short term, it might work out. Can you share with us your example, mga best practices na nakita mo ngayon?
No, so I think other people also resonated, no, that fixed costs today are one of the hindrances, no, for us to even survive. And so rental really takes a big chunk of our fixed costs. I got word from my sister-in-law that Green Hills Promenade, for example, is allowing us to open because we are on the curbside. So we have an outdoor access restaurant, and they're allowing 5% only of your store sales. And I said, if that's something that can be done for the next months, maybe 1 or 2 months, no, as we struggle, no, with this crisis, that is really a big help for us. And I think other people resonated with that.
Oh, so right now that helps you out. Like sinabi rin kanina ni Zark na mga if 8% hiningi sa kanila. So right now 5% will help you out. But in terms of the longer term, in terms of rent, what do you think we can do as well? What do we want to tell our lessors and also our lessors and also our other partners when it comes to the rent for the next couple of months? Because
Yeah.
I don't expect a lot of people right after magka ECQ, hindi sila babalik ulit sa mga mall, di ba? Hindi ka agad-agad.
Actually, it could. I would think, no, even for the longer haul, maybe a few months after, you could increase, no, as we see the foot traffic increases. So we can go on a variable pay scheme, and that is something that we can work along with our mall the mall
Partners.
owners, actually, mall partners, diba? If we can do a variable scheme that grows as we grow, because other businesses also thrive and survive using percentage schemes. So I feel that at this point, a variable scheme is the best way for us to survive this. We all help each other.
And help each other. And then, of course, Eric also brought up a very good point kanina, and I want to see what you think about that, Audrey. Number one is, lahat tayo maraming dining. How do we reposition for both for the restaurants, not only just in terms of physical distancing, but also for the health? What are the longer term plans that we need to do as a company?
No, health is definitely the number one priority. It's health with your employees, and then the health and safety also of your clients is also really the number one thing. And I for one know that malls won't be opening in the next month, even if this is already lifted. And that's really something already. We'll take the hit for that just so that our customers will be very safe. Meanwhile, at the back end, we have to make sure that even the floors are sanitized, the foot baths are in place, social distancing happens also at the food level. And I recommend not to serve raw food at all, and everything is really heated before it's given to the customer, because at a certain temperature, it dies, the virus dies. So that's something we have going for us in terms of delivery, that we send out really heated food products. And I urge all clients to heat all their products also before they eat them. Yan. So it's about the communication and telling people how to go about these.
So odds at the same time, there's a good question. Wilmer Lopez from Space Encounters. Should you also reconsider how you put out the layout and sanitation of the... Kasi importante rin yun, di ba? I'm sure Eric's been putting a lot of thought behind that one. Paano yung cost natin sa mga restaurant yan? Do we have to reconfigure our restaurants now? Do we have to... Is it an aesthetic thing lang, or will it have to go back to the engineering, back to relooking how the ventilation is done? Have you looked at that one as well? Nako, parang naputo si...
Yes. See, I also foresaw how I'm here. I foresaw the menu right now is going to rise. Now we tried to circumvent that and not use the digital iPad menus, and because people still wanted to do interactive face-to-face ordering. But I think moving forward, we have to really start fixing our own digital menu so that people will just touch and go and have less customer contact, less contact with the servers as well. And then I think a lot of it would be plated service also at the same time on the restaurant level versus sharing meals. So there's a lot of format changes that we have to do, even if we are still going to be, socializing on the restaurant level. But yes, definitely our space would have to be wider, the gaps wider. And so we have to be able to supplement all this delivery so that we don't have to pass hard.
Okay. Just let people know, maraming mag-offer. There's a lot of interior designers, space designers, architects, also restaurant architects listening right now. If you've got services, please do offer it right now at our restaurant Bounce Back page. You can follow it again. Very important for you guys to be there so we can also see the services that you can offer to us post-COVID. Sa Rai Ken, ano naman yung ikaw naman, Joey, after the ECQ, what kind of help do we need right now so that we can survive this business? What are we looking for from the lessors? What are we looking for from the government?
Actually, marami nang nabanggit about the health and safety, yung mga new norms, yung even probably the supply chain. I think it would differ na ngayon, RJ, sa Marami kasing mga restaurateur na mga small players lang. Unlike us, Raymond, Mr. D and Zark, Audrey, we have chain of restaurants. We can easily negotiate with the mall because marami tayong locations. So, siguro pag tayo ang nagsalita sa mall and we have this unified idea of how can we negotiate with them in terms of rent and other negotiation, I think malaking malaking tulong sa mga restaurateurs na katulad natin. Example, those ang restaurant na isa lang sa mall na naapektuhan ng operations, mahirap sa kanila to negotiate na ganun lang. Probably they don't have the idea to do that. Pero kung merong movement o merong idea coming from the restaurateurs like us na we can air our concerns, especially yung rent, yan ang pinoproblema talaga natin given the safety protocol, it is necessary talaga dahil we really have to offer something yung babalik yung trustworthy ng customer sa ating mga restaurant. Pero number one is cost, di ba? We really don't know kung paano natin ibabalik yung bagong normal. Yes, people will still dine into restaurant. Hindi naman mawawala yan as mentioned by Prof. Raymond. Pero yung malaking consideration ko is about the cost na may incurred natin for the next 6 months or 18 months and so. So especially siguro I'd like to take this chance to appeal to the mall na yung sabi nga ni Audrey yung variable rental, 'di ba? Kung if our sales is growing and then they get more of it. Pero kung babalik tayo dun sa basic plus percentage, I think we will not survive this. Yeah.
Agree.
We will not survive.
Yan,
At the perspective naman ng landlord, syempre, it should be triple win. Win si landlord, win tayo, win ang customers natin. So we have to really think of strategies. Probably we can collaborate, we can identify several opportunities, especially with the big players like Eric D. Na marami siyang restaurant pa. So, a lot of
Eric D.
regards kay boss, kay Sir Ricky.
Yeah.
Less niyo ako dati in Glorieta, around 2000, I forgot.
No, I think this is what's key, diba? Joey, Audrey, everybody else here, and if you're listening right now to in our comments, to all the restaurant groups, Jolina will come in later on, consolidate all the statements, and we'll try to help draft one document which the restaurant owners can present. Maybe we can all sign off on that document, which we can present to people. I think that's what's very important from this. That will be the result of this meeting. But more or less, Joey, you agree also with that sort of kay Audrey variable, parang percentage of cost muna, di ba? Yan yung start off muna.
Yes, it should be. Kasi hindi naman tayo babalik sa walang normals ito
Oh, and
very
then
impossible.
Then gradually we graduate back to we graduate from there. We move up.
Meron nga ako, for example, we create a scenario planning. What if we reopen? Ang sales natin is only 50%. Tapos nakipag-negotiate tayo kay mall. Tapos yung 50% hindi pala na-achieve. It's only 20%. So, di ba? Mahirap din So, variable is good siguro.
At the start, we all take the hair. We all take the pay cut. We all sacrifice together. Parang collaboration pa sa mga mall. Thanks so much. Raymond, you've been working with Eric naman. Eric, I know that you guys, in all humility, in all modesty, you guys are one of the biggest players here in the restaurant industry, and many people are looking to you guys. But you also have a landlord. You also do you're also lesser at the same time. So how should we move forward, particularly because rental is what we're thinking of, and variable cost, maybe we move up together, variable cost, percentage cost until it becomes finally when things start to stabilize, baka the rental can go up to the same rate as before. That's a suggestion lang. What's your perspective, Eric?
Well, on our end, we're opening a few restaurants this week. So we're opening HawkerChan. We're also opening Tim Ho 1 in Glorieta that's going to service metro-wide. We'd like to thank our business partners, which are the malls, for giving us a rate that allows us to do this, right? But as you mentioned, we're also on the other side of the table where we're also landlords. So a percentage rental scheme would work for now, short term. But then we'll have to really roll with the punches and see how our business partners, which are the malls, reacts to these certain things. And dito natin talaga malalaman who are in tune with their partners as far as knowing what needs to be done in order for them to survive. Because it's a really vicious cycle. If you start charging rent, they will close. You'll not have tenants. Everyone has to work with this. And I think what happened also was, I think all the restaurateurs right now realize that we don't have a single voice, no one that represents us. And only when this crisis happened, everyone started to scramble and parang, "Uy, nasa na? Sino ba? Sino ba?" Right? We all know each other. But no one really took the time to kind of like pull everyone together and be like, we need to have a singular voice. So if we're looking at something positive that came out from this might be it for us to get together and players to, not naman be ask and ask and ask, because we know that we have to do this on our own. Pag umaasa lang tayo kung ano magagawa ng gobyerno and kung aasa tayo kung ano magagawa ng ibang tao, that's not our controllable. The only controllable that we have is our own network. So what we can do is really bump our heads together and figure out how to approach this, because I think the approach also has to be a little bit careful, because we also don't know ano nga itong future. As Raymund mentioned, we still have the dining. Yes, I agree that I will be the first customer in a restaurant because I think it's experiential, right?
Yes,
people who want to dine out is because of the service. It's not just eating adobo and rice. It's about the service going out. So definitely it will come back. But when, right? Correct that we're having to do a few approaches, that you need to have a plan for the short term on how to survive this, and another long-term plan on moving on after that survival, right? So yun, I think we'll see the real partners that we have as far as our mall partners are concerned, who will really think about the long term in order for us to go through this entire crisis together.
And then you had a few thoughts about you talk to your designers, your architects, or people behind the scenes as to how to take in the whole protocols of the new dining, diba? New dining, new business normal. What are just a few of your thoughts about that one, Eric?
So we've already consulted with a few of our partners that have already done this. So Singapore and Hong Kong has different parameters. We're looking at a 1.2 to 1.5 meter distancing that's supposed to be between tables or between people. So if you were to consider that, and you're doing 90% of your business on dine-in, the seating capacity already cuts by more than one half. Right? Exactly. So design-wise also, as I mentioned earlier, I think what is important now is to shout or scream what safety protocols you're doing and spending on that. Our operating expenses will definitely go up, because you didn't used to have to buy alcohol. You didn't have to use to make sure that all your tables are sanitized. I mean, in the first world countries that have regulations that really check on the cleanliness, and they're easier adapting to this, because we're a little bit behind on that we're having to struggle. But it will take us to that point wherein it will become a norm that everyone is hygienic and clean. So as far as design is concerned, we will have to have sinks outside. We will have to have tunnels going in. If we're cutting distances within the dining area, allocate that space to a cleaning room or to a disinfecting room. Because you'll have excess space now. So maybe that's something that you can do. But again, also within your kitchen standard, you're gonna have to create mini worlds of their own, because they cannot cross section. We're also trying to make sure that we're limiting the contact with food. So if before may taga chop, may taga luto, may taga pack, we're trying to limit that into, rather than 3 steps, to make it 2, so that it's less contact with the food and we can now trace it faster. So a lot of things. And again, these are now not set in stone. We're having to learn based on that. We're opening this weekend. And from there, let's see how we can adjust. And that's basically what we're planning for.
Great insight, Eric. A lot of people giving us feedback again that they enjoy what you had to say. Now, Raymund, how about on your part? Again, just adding on, do you agree or disagree with what Audrey and Joey are proposing as to what we will tell the mall owners and about the rental and also sanitation and the other concerns? Oh.
Agree on ano naman. I think pare-pareho naman kami, no? Like, I guess if you're an operator, ako concrete suggestions. Number one, pure percentage, no? For the next few months. 5% to 6%, maximum 6%, no? Second, the key naman is to minimize the fixed cost, no? Kasi basically, ang break-even mo naman is fixed cost times 2. More or less, yun naman ang break-even point ng restaurants, no? So, it's really to limit fixed costs and then convert some of the staff to riders. Yung may mga motorsiklo, imbis na, kunyari, ang servers mo 10, gagawin mo na lang 5. And then yung mga riders, they can have, what we do is we give 100 pesos per delivery per rider. No? Yung mga kinonvert namin na cooks or server ngayon, rider, para bang hazard pay. No? And I think ang mangyayari is, normally ang allocation naman is 5 square meters for one table, no? And 4 chairs. I think eventually when operations are restored, magiging mga siguro 8 square meters. Yun nga. So basically capacity will go down. So what we can do is go for faster turnover. So imbis na 1 hour ang turnover ng dining, going 40 minutes to 45 minutes. So it's just basically a lot of pre-work sa kitchen, no? Kasi ang typical kitchen, luto no, wok, whatever, no. But if you convert yung kitchen mo to assembly, then you cut a lot of preparation time sa kitchen. So you can compensate for dun sa capacity, dadamihan mo lang yung turnover. So gawin lang nating 40 minutes instead na 1 hour. And a lot of that can be achieved by reconfiguring kitchen.
Wow. Thanks so much, Raymond. Really great input for the people listening right now. Actually, yung lumalabas dito sa, just let you sa comments box, even the smaller players, they need help because you guys are the, kumbaga, big players and they really need your help when you come up with a document to help the smaller players who don't have that much of a voice in the industry and who are sort of looking to you for the inputs on paano ba to? Paano namin ayusin yung mga, hindi namin alam yung mga bagong trends, alam ni Sir Eric, alam ni Sir Raymond, alam ni Ma'am Audrey. Kailangan nilang feedback rin. So this has been very, very helpful for them. So guys, thanks so much for all this input that you're giving them here right now. Now moving on, kay Jeff naman, sa inyo naman, anong kailangan yung tulong? Kasi ikaw parang independent operator ka, di ba? Mag-isa ka lang dyan.
Yes.
Kailangan mo ba tulong sa renta? What more help do you guys kind of need from your lessor?
Yun. Until now, we're very fortunate. Yung lessor namin is not charging us for the rent. And also, until now, low overhead cost pa rin. Kasi nga, not all the people are coming to work. And also, yung consumption ng water, electricity is not that high. For now, if we continue our deliveries for the frontliners and look for some other clienteles, I think we can do this for the next 2 to 3 months. We'll still be okay.
Still be okay. Well, good luck. No, we just have to just keep on planning ahead. And
yes.
Thanks for using your area again for Bounce Back. We really, really appreciate what you guys are doing over there. Now, finally, kay Zark. Zark, is Zark still there?
Yeah, dito na.
Zark, kaya naman.
Hello, sorry nawala. Yeah.
No, Zark, okay lang kasi kanina alam ko kasama si Romel ng Resto Coach at Buffalo Wings and Things. Ikaw, magkagrupo kayo. May stand ka rin, di ba? Ano pwedeng gawin ng mga malls para makatulong sa ating mga restaurants? What were you thinking of? Agree ka rin ba sa kina Audrey about the pure percentage of cost as we start off? Anong suggestion mo?
Yeah, I think pero nagsisimula ito lahat muna kung paano tulungan muna sila ng government. Kasi of course, ang laki ng hit din sa kanila. And we're very thankful nga sa mga mall owners for extending help sa simula pa lang. And sana we can renegotiate yung rent after this. Instead of 5% of our sales, maybe kasi hindi naman to biglaan I mean, whole year to for sure na dahan-dahan
for sure.
mag-i-improve. Actually, walang kasiguraduhan pa rin cure or vaccine. Walang
Oh.
kasiguraduhan to. And we can renegotiate yung sa mga base rental natin. Kasi of course, hindi rin kaya ng mall owners na percentage sales na to long term. Diba? So, I'm sure mag-ano rin yan eh. The least we can do, I think, is we can renegotiate. And worst case scenario mangyari, we can, ayaw man natin mangyari, but we might close yung mga hindi talaga nagpa-perform na stores, yung mga big stores. Ngayon talaga, ang game nito sa restaurant industry moving forward is efficiency. From the labor cost, from the fixed cost, yung mga rental natin. Paano natin mapapa-efficient operation? Kasi hindi na ito tulad ng dati. Hindi na ito magkakaroon ng new normal. And along the way, mag-a-adjust tayo. Maraming adjustments na mangyayari. And hopefully, yung mga malls din, dati kasi mga 200 square meters yung mga spaces sila ang hirap. Hopefully, they can make it smaller kasi ganun yung magiging trend niyan moving forward. Efficiency yung game. So may mga 50 square meters, 70 square meters. Kung paano yung mga nangyayari sa Japan, like nakikita natin ng mga restaurants sa Hong Kong, ang liliit ng spaces. Pero ang ganda ng turnover nila. Mangyayari after nito, I'm very optimistic na mag-evolve tayo lahat papunta doon. Efficiency.
Okay, efficiency, very good. So we very negotiate.
Sorry.
And guys, this is the last na lang already. Last question, and then we'll start to sum up everything already. Jolina, especially what we want to tell the government. But I think the important thing right now is that one thing which hasn't really come up is there is actually no government guidelines or regulations sort of helping govern the restaurant industry, or there's no sort of restaurant body. And I'm really going to leave this question up to all of you. Hindi ako mag-go one by one. Feel free to volunteer. Other than this, what type of government guidelines or regulations do we need right now to help the industry, to help the restaurant industry as a whole para makabangon tayo? Does anybody have any clue on how the government can come in and help us right now?
RJ, mauna na ako, no? Bago ko makalimutan.
Go ahead.
I mentioned before to you yung business interruption insurance, no. In the States, it's a big debate now, no, that a lot of the restaurateurs are clamoring for the government to compel insurance companies to honor yung business interruption coverage, no. So a lot of the restaurants and the small businesses have this as part of their insurance package, no. This is going to be a big help for restaurants, no, if government or at least the insurance commission steps in yung business interruption coverage, no, if they honor this one.
But is it for the current? You should have gotten the insurance for that one already right now, di ba? Parang ganyan.
Correct. Maraming a lot of the businesses have gotten this years ago, no, or get this as part of the regular package. Kasi normally you have the fire, the CGL, and a lot of the restaurants naman have business interruption, no. However, the language is vague. You can interpret it as pwedeng covered, pwedeng hindi. So the government has to step in, no? Kasi I think it has pwedeng i-cover eh, no? So this is going to be a big help if the insurance companies do honor the coverages.
Well, thanks so much, Raymond. How about the government? What do you think the government should step in right now? What type of guidelines do you think? How can the government help us out right now? Would anybody like to start off? Eric or Audrey? Kasi marami kayong may influence dyan. Eh? You have a big pool for you guys.
I guess on our end, like I mentioned, we parang ang gusto namin is doing with what we can control. I want to say that, tax breaks would be good and all that. But at the end of the day, I think we have to do it ourselves as far as creating those rules rather than, like I said, mag-iintay nga tayo ng matagal.
Okay.
Like for us then, one concern was, I think when lagi lumalabas sa TV masyadong advanced yung certain things na ina-approve nila and whatnot. But when it really comes down to the legwork, when we're actually doing it and applying it for our staff, everything is delayed. So they'll say that, turnaround is in X amount of time, pero pagdating mo dun, it's, so parang maybe it's like, because it's putting a lot of strain within our staff that's
And
asking
resources
the
also, yeah.
sir, nasaan na? Sabi nila, it's out already. And then we're having to absorb. So my instruction to most of my team is to make sure that they disseminate the information, because it creates so much strain within that's the network, that they feel na kami ang walang ginagawa versus and whatnot. And really to expedite, and expedite certain things, because everyone is asking for us to help them. We've done our part. So we're waiting for the government. That's why we advanced a lot of the things that the government approved later on, because we had our staff's concern at our priority. So now that they're doing it, for us to claim it, it's having a long time. But when it comes out in the media, TV and whatnot, it seems like it's going like super smooth, right? So those things are of a concern for us as far as our network is concerned.
Yeah. Oh, just to let you know, Miss Margarita Forrest is watching us right now. Miss Margarita, Madam, thanks so much for watching us here right now, on our restaurant Bounce Back Forum. She says that what she means, Eric, we can start off by helping our employees get the dole 5,000 pesos, diba? From the, I think we're all doing that right now. Actually, we're all processing right now our employees additional 5,000 pesos, if I'm not mistaken. Tama ba ako, Audrey and Eric? Are we all processing ours? Tama, diba?
Definitely, yes. So we've done this way ahead.
Yeah, we're all waiting for that.
We're all working for that right now. Yeah, Audrey, ikaw naman, there are some things being brought up. What do you think because I like the point of Eric, because actually we can't wait for the government. Wag tayong aasa all the time in terms of government regulation. We might have to have our own self-regulatory body for all the restaurants. I mean, this is not a time for really. I mean, we're competitors in the getting foot traffic and people. But the more important thing right now is we might have to work together just to survive this crisis and come up with our own guidelines and protocols, even for delivery, because at this time, people like the third-party delivery will still continue to charge a high rate. Do we all rely on them? Do we work as an industry to have them lower that down? Or do we start creating our own type of delivery for our industry? I mean, there are many things that we can do by ourselves, which because we have not been consolidated, we cannot get them to drop the prices of their percentages. So, Audrey, what is your suggestion in terms of how can the government help us, or how can we help ourselves as an industry?
Actually, yeah, we have also been victims also of the online. Also, for example, if Food Panda just decides, oh, we'll turn you offers for a while, your whole day sales is gone. So really relying on third party for your sales today, right now, is not the best idea. I'm also on the premise na yung government actually is relying on us more than we can rely on them. And I think that I want the government to be full force right now. More than anything, I think they should still get their act together in the DOH to get the virus fixed. So this whole issue, which is really the core of everything that's happening right now, they're not even doing that pretty well, right? And so they're really relying on the business sector to take care of the people who are employed, and that's a big burden on us. I would like to ask for help, maybe for SMEs to be able to get more cash flow funding, easy way to flow funding, because I heard last that the banks are pulling back on out lines to help extend the loans for SMEs. And I think I want to be able to lobby on that to help more SMEs get by through this critical period.
Really critical period for all of us over here. How about Joey? Anything to contribute as well? What more help than we need? Mukhang tayo pong tutulong sa gobyerno nito. Steven Tan of SM. Oy, Sir Steven Tan, kumusta po, Steven? Pakibati si Steven, mga boss natin. Si Steven. Sir Steven.
Thank you for the Wednesday period.
Hi, Steven.
Dami mong fans dito, Steven Tan ng SM. Joey, ano pang gusto mong sabihin rin, Joey?
Sa government muna, sa government. I think if they could help us fast track yung mga assistance from Dole, yung 5,000. Kasi bilis nating nag-apply eh. Pero wala eh. Kasi pag hindi dumating yon, mapipilitan tayo na to subsidize our employee. Kasi no work, no pay sila, but definitely we should do something for them, di ba? Meron ng collaboration yata na DSWD, Dole, and even the DTI is issuing loans to MSE, no? So, maraming effort. Sana ang gobyerno, kung mabilis sila nakapag-isip, sana mabilis din mag-release ng mga na ipangako na sa atin. Because if not, tayong mga bosses, tayong mga ano, we have to do something for our employee. Kasi
Sabi nga dito, sabi ni Miss Margarita Forrest, same as you, we are processing right now the 5,000 pesos from Dole, but we don't know when it will come, di ba?
Yes. Kaya ang nangyayari, yung employees are coordinating to us. Sir, wala pa yung 5,000 ng Dole. Can you release a cash advance instead? O paano mo sasagutin yan if you have thousands or hundreds of employees, multiply by 5,000. So that's the burden.
Thanks so much. And then, somebody just gave a suggestion, si Christine. Hi, RJ. I suggest we also have a similar forum, but for the landlord. So next time, baka next forum natin, let's invite SM, let's invite Ayala, let's invite Robinsons, let's invite Megaworld to ask what their plan. What do you guys think? Can we invite them as well to ask them what the recovery plans as well? I think that would help us out as well to see, because of course we're all hearing from our side. It'd be also great to hear about what their side is and what their plans are. Kasi partners natin sila, di ba guys?
Yes. RJ, one point lang. For example, many mention na talagang merong mga stores tayo talaga na not doing good, especially now na merong pang crisis. What if we close our stores and then hindi natin natapos yung contract? What would happen to our security deposit? I think that's one way, di ba? That could help us at kaming mga restaurateur. Kasi honest to goodness, alam naman natin na hindi lahat ng restaurant branches natin would survive this when we reoperate. So probably most of the restaurant, those branches, is hindi nakatapos ng contract. Probably a little help from our business partners, the most, yung mga security deposit rather than ma-forfeit, di ba?
That's right, that's right.
Hi, Sir Steven.
Jeff or Zark? Zark, tenant si Zark ng ano. Zark is also a tenant as well, di ba? Zark, are you there? Ano bang mga government so government naman? What do you think how can they help us out, do you think?
Sana una, we appreciate ngayon sa Dole na 5,000. And I think there's a new tranche this coming May, another 8,000. Dalawa yata kung di ako nagkakamali. Pero tama yun, sana maganda yung plan. Sana yung execution lang, mas mabilisan ng konti. Kasi mas, more than sa amin, mas kailangan talaga ng mga staff yun eh. And I can't imagine kung gaano kahirap yung, diba, hindi matatapos yung crisis na to hanggat hindi natin mapoprovide muna yung pinaka sa ilalim. And after that, sana nga yung mga tax break na mention kanina. And meron siguro kahit maging staggered payment, kung hindi talaga kaya yung break, at least mas stretch na hindi mabigat. Kasi next 3 months, sabay-sabay lahat ng mabayaran eh. Na-delay lang na yung mga utilities, na-delay lang yung ibang rent ng mga non-malls. And sa mga malls, sana we appreciate nga na mention din kanina yung mga percentage sales ng mga rent, ng mga free rents. Aside dun sa bagay ni Sir Joey na ma-waive yung mga security deposit sa mga stores na magko-close talaga. Kasi every 2 or 3 years we renovate yung mga stores eh. Kasi gusto din namin lagi bago yung stores. Sana yung mga naka-plot for this year, mga required this year na mga renovations, sana kung pwedeng ma-allow ng mga landlords ma-delay for next year para matulungan ng konti sa expenses. Kasi after this, magta-tight talaga tayo sa sa mga unnecessary expenses eh. Cash is king sa panahon na to. So we can delay yung mga renovations, yung mga relocation, especially relocation, yung medyo mabigat. So sana ma-delay ng konti. Yun sana hiningi namin tulong sa kanila. Yeah, tulungan talaga natin. At the same time, mapapasa din namin yun sa mga employees namin.
That's right. Thanks so much, Zark. It's a great thing because Mark Sablan of Ayala Malls is also listening to us here right now. Boss Mark, Mark Sablan, pakibati mga kaibigan si Mark Sablan. Mark, thanks so much for listening to us as well. I really appreciate that. Again, reminding everybody from all the different restaurant groups, restaurant suppliers, even our mall owners, please go and be part of the group. Again, the group that we have is BounceBackPH Official and Bounce Back Restaurant. All the restaurant people will be there. We will also release the consolidated statement over there. Just a couple of words. Jeff, anything more to add?
Hope this conversation will not end online. With BounceBackPH kasi we have 25,000 members, right?
Yes.
90% of which are entrepreneurs. Kung bawat isang entrepreneur magbigay ng 1,000, we'll be having a fund of 25 million. So with that, it could be a good start for our group to help other entrepreneurs as well. Because we have to accept the fact that governments will prioritize yung mga mas less fortunates and other people who are in need. So entrepreneurs are resilient. So we must work hand in hand. Probably next election, BounceBackPH party list. So para may mag-represent sa mga entrepreneurs. May mag-represent sa mga entrepreneurs sa national government. Kasi para magkaroon naman tayo ng boses. Pero for ngayon, I think we are the last resort na tutulungan nila. So we must work hand in hand.
Thinking out of the box, Audrey Tanco for Bounce Back Party List. Thank you so much, Audrey. Now, maraming salamat, guys. Now, can I invite Jolina back? Jolina, Kahn has been the whole time taking together the statements of everybody. Can you consolidate right now? Jolina, thanks so much for what we've had to say here today and share with us what we came up with. Please share your presentation on your deck.
Yes. So I'm not sure kung nakikita ng mga tao yung presentation. Kita na ba, RJ?
Yes, we see it.
Perfect. So actually, ang ganda ng usapan. Kung nakita nyo, kulang na nga yung space ko para sa ating summary. Pero from an individual perspective, ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ng mga entrepreneurs? So from financials, really economizing and looking at efficiency on fixed and variable costs. On operations, ang daming ideas dito. How do we, ensuring you have digital payment tools, look at how do you increase your turnover? How do you reconfigure your kitchen? From a business model, how are you going to shift that? And then yung support na binibigay natin sa mga empleyado natin. So isipin din natin yung mental health nila. Marketing and branding, making sure that we stick to our brand and we continue to market to our customers. And then from strategy, alam na ba natin kung ano yung survival strategy at ano yung moving forward strategy natin. For the industry and partners, so clear yung ask natin from malls to have guidance and assistance. We talked about the variable scheme. We talked about security deposit, how that would be managed.
And in particular, Jolina, just to add lang, because me as a tenant also for the malls, what really I picked up is that we start off muna with maybe a percentage scheme of the percentage of sales scheme as you start off, just so that you can survive the business. Maybe that might have to go on for a couple of months and you can graduate eventually back to the regular rates. But at this time, if they bring us to the regular rates of the mall, the business might possibly not survive. That's what I was picking up from my colleagues in the restaurant industry.
For sure. Tapos, rethinking also the redesign of the malls. Paano natin siya magiging relevant in the new normal. Also, we said we should collectively build the credibility on health and safety and look at the restaurant layouts to meet the social distancing guidelines. More importantly, to have a singular voice to represent restaurateurs. So, I think making sure that we have that in place. And then, anong ask natin from government, from the nation? First, guidelines and regulation for the industry. But tulad nga ng sabi kanina, we can't wait. Maybe we can think up of what that is and propose it. We talked about business interruption insurance. How do we compel that insurance companies can honor business interruption coverage? And then we talked about tax breaks and financial support. So cash flow, delayed payment. So if that can be in place, and then follow through and implementation on the pronouncements that have been said.
Yes.
Garcia, may gusto bang i-add? May isa pa akong slide. Pero...
Yeah, I just want to say that yung dole, importante yung dole pa kung sana ma-release ka agad. Many of us really relying on dole. And again, we'd like to thank listening to us right now, Steve Benitez of Bose Coffee, who's just checked in, came from another forum. Summary is great. If you're seeing the page right now that we're showing, we want to remind you, we are going to be downloading this on the Bounce Back PH official page. But more importantly, we also have a Bounce Back Restaurants page. May we invite you to please join our Bounce Back official page and also our Bounce Back restaurant page. All of you there, Ma'am Margarita, Ma'am Gaita, Sir Steve, Sir Steven, Sir Mark, if you guys can join it so together, we can come up with a solution. We need to come together and all the restaurant suppliers, all those people who are offering restaurant solutions or big and small restaurants, please join our Facebook pages for restaurants and also the Bounce Back page. Please go ahead, Jolina.
Sure. So, and I guess kung anong way forward natin, we defined ano ba yung new normal. For sure, disrupted significantly. We talked about some restaurants potentially not reopening after this. So rethinking how we move forward. So for sure, social distancing, we have to rethink and redesign the restaurant concept from that. How do we adjust our safety protocols? So we talked about gaining the confidence of our customers. Location planning, mag-iiba yon. It's outdoor and open areas. We also talked about cloud kitchens, which are shared kitchen spaces na yun na yung new normal. And also, Audrey kept on saying this, we have to build our own systems versus relying on the third party.
Kumbaga, it's sort of like a self-regulatory agency amongst the restaurants to help them, at least some kind of protocols, because we can't wait for the government. Maybe what we can do is we show the government what we've done already in terms of the work, but we have to work on things ourselves right now. Same thing that Eric was saying, same thing Audrey was saying as well. Even the small restaurants na nako-comment sa Facebook page, they're all asking, can you help us out because we don't know what standards to use. So this is perfect for them.
Yeah, perfect. And then last, RJ, I just captured some of our key opportunities na lumabas. So of course, an opportunity continues to be supporting our frontliners through this crisis. Sobrang important yung help na binibigay ng mga the ones who've been donating from restaurants. And then you mentioned, prepare the new normal now. Hindi pwedeng hintayin natin matapos to. Ngayon, isipin na natin kung anong kailangan natin gawin. So think, how will you redefine your business model? Think about the health and safety. And lastly, we have to do this together. We have to collectively negotiate and address it. So it's time for radical collaboration. We may be competitors, but we are also partners in this.
Jolina, again, thanks so much for the kind wrapping up, really consolidating everything. If you want to pick up a picture of that page again, we'll be posting this on the BounceBackPH official page and also on the BounceBack Restaurants page. Please join so we can come together with a consolidated statement. Jolina, hopefully after we're done, we can have one statement which we can release and maybe have all the restaurant owners sign and give to the mall owners and also give to the government at the same time. Again, Jolina Kahn of Kahn Solutions, thanks so much for summarizing our discussion. Again, maraming salamat ulit kay Audrey Tanco ng BIZU, Joey Garcia ng Rai Ken, Eric D of FOODIE Global Concepts, Raymund Magdaluyo of the Red Crop Group, and Wolfgang, Jeff Catimbang of Tribu, Babylan, and of course, Zark Varona of Zark's Burgers. Again, mapapasalamat kami on behalf of BounceBack. Ako po ulit, si RJ Ledesma, co-founder ng Mercato Centrale, Easy Franchise and Entrepreneur. Maraming salamat sa pagkinig dito ngayon. Hopefully, we helped you out. And sa aking mga kaibigan, kasama at colleagues sa restaurant industry, we will bounce back together. Maraming salamat po ulit. Stay safe, stay home, stay well. God bless. Maraming salamat po.
Bye.